Hi, it's Debbie with D.Ann's Designs. I was in the middle of making a signature for a journal I'm creating right now, and I needed a belly band, so I decided to try a different style of belly band, which I'm calling this my sliding belly band. This is a botanical book, and it's called the Spring Book, and we will have botanicals and we will have bunnies in it. So I chose the entomology type of reference on this one and on the other one, and I'll probably do it again. But this is just kind of what I've created, and would like to go over it with you really quick if I could on how I make it. So I'm going to over here with some papers. You're going to need your basic front line paper, whatever you're using as your front of it, and then and I'll probably cut to and just use it for back too. But I wanted you to see. Also, you're going to need a backdrop paper. So this is what I've chosen as my backdrop paper. This is my front paper. What I'm going to look for on my width, I chose 1 5/8 on my width of my strips. So we're going to cut a couple of those out real quick. Let's see. Right there. Should be that on it. Make sure, as I do everything, I double check so much that I wear myself out double checking. There goes 8. You're going to have these two, and you're going to set them aside. Then we're going to take what is the remainder of our paper, I should say, and I have a 3-inch circle punch that I'll be using. So I'm going to pop it into here. I'm going to do it right about in here. Okay, there we go. I'm also going to need a 3-inch punch on the background paper. Try and load that up the best you can. Get that out of the way for now. Okay, on our front paper, here's our back, here's our front. I'm going to take the 2-inch punch, and the 2-inch is not going to hit center on the 3-inch paper, or the 3-inch punch, I should say. So we're going to try to get in that way, and then you're going to see you have a narrower place up here, and you're going to have a little wider spot here. And this is what it should look like when put together. Okay? Then I'm going to take a little cake color, or you may use acetate, whichever you use. I'm going to cut me a little strip off about there. I don't think we need to have that cutting board any longer, so I'll move it out of the way. Okay, let's bring this over here. First off, I want to ink in here a little bit. You may ink your papers, you may not. I've inked all the way through this journal, so there's no point in me stopping now. I'm using Vintage Photo Oxide. I just mainly want to get the white edges off. That's really all I'm doing. Okay, and I'm going to do it on the back one too. Okay, good enough. And then we're going to start some gluing process. Excuse me. It's been great weather for me here. And I'm going to put some, I'm using the Aleene's Clear Gel Tacky Glue. Just as all I have to have on this. These in here. You want to glue your two strips together. And you want wrong sides facing each other. Not that it makes a huge difference, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't. Now you may wish to stitch along here. That'll be up to you on how you want to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm okay, I think, because I don't believe I've stitched. Let me check. No, I've not stitched on the other one, so I won't stitch on this one. Make sure I don't have an excess on there. Come here. I'll go ahead and ink my edges while I'm working it. So don't forget to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take this down. Probably won't make any difference, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't. Okay, we have the slide band prepared. Mine is 10 inches long, but I'll be cutting mine off on my band because I don't need it to go that long. My journal isn't that long. But I just go ahead and cut the paper the size that it starts out with. And then I'll adjust it as I go. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is put my acetate on here. Let's get us a little glue out if we can. And we've already inked, so we don't have to worry about that on this one. I'm just going to pop this on there. Make sure my glue is adhering. Here. And I'm just going to wipe the excess off so I don't have a mess. Sometimes I leave messes. And it ends up catching me in the end, so I'll try to avoid it. So, okay. Now, this is where we're going to, I have a butterfly that I'll be using in mine. I'm just going to pop it right about in here. Okay, and you want to just make sure that you get yours lined up in your circle the way you would want it to be. So I'm going to take and place a little tacky glue on here. I just leave it mainly on my tips. I don't need it all over. My goodness. But you want to make sure you have what you need to have to stick to the acetate, or in my case, the cake color. Okay, so then I'm just going to take, I'm going to find my center. Should be right about in here. And I will place my butterfly side. Then I'm going to take this, and he's going to be my backdrop. As you can see, that's just how it's going to, that should look pretty good. I think we're pretty well centered in That's good. Okay, I'm going to take now and cut my cake color. I don't really like that glue to get on my scissors too much. I can avoid it. Avoid it. We'll start trimming that to meet right around that circle, that 3-inch circle. Get it as close as you can. The thing about acetate, it doesn't show up all that much. Get it as close as I can get it. Okay. Now, the gist of this is that your band is your slider. I have to do that right now. Yeah, it's going to be your slider. So you're going to take this guy and you're going to try to attach him to center him into here as such. Now I have I have sewn mine. Let me show you. Let's see if I can get one out there. I have sewn a zigzag onto here and just called it a day. Well, I kind of inked it, I suppose, but that was about good enough. I have a question now that I would like to answer for myself. Is if I take and I put small little brads to adhere it, what that might look like. So I'm willing to give that a shot. And let's see where we might place those brads, which I think want to be here and want to be here. And then I would want to go across the page. I guess I would try to fairly line up where I think it should be. Maybe one of that. Kind of look yours over, see if it looks about right. I think mine does. I think that's about it right there. I will probably attach glue in between each one of those. But first, I think I would like to try and put my holes in it. So let me get my small one out. Sure we got that about right. And I'm going to be punching a hole into the front cover and also into the back. And remember, I'm going to need to go through the acetate also, which I don't suspect it to be a problem, but good grief, the camera's rolling, it should be a problem. One in there. And put one in there. Turn it now. One about there. He doesn't want to remove too easily, but you know, you don't really have a lot of choice. I guess do it. Okay, so now we have this, like so. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, you know, you experiment as you go. You can get the bread in the hole. Right in here. I'm going to put the bread in here. things are pretty tiny for my fingers. Okay, so we would have, if we can keep it in the hole, we would have it this way, that. So let me try to tighten this down, see where they're at. They're tiny enough to where they're not showing into here anyway. Make sure that gets smooshed down better. Okay. And I suppose we can always glue if we had to. It doesn't look like I really have to. That's good. I'm going to put my band in to here, behind the butterfly. See if I can find a couple more breads here. And give me one more of those golden that. I'll place it there. You know, it's not real bad, I suppose. Kind of adds another element to your page. Be able to slide it up and down pretty easily, as you can see. You don't have a lot of play. You do have a little play, but up to the person playing, I suppose, how they want that to go. I don't know. I'm thinking about adding a little touch of glue in here. I don't suppose I have to, but I suppose it would stay, wouldn't it? I think I just want some added security. I'm very leery about some of these things. Let me just add a little touch of shape. Make sure this isn't going to go anywhere. You know, when I look at this thing, it's actually a little bit prettier bringing this side on it. So I think I'll do that. I kind of like that down here if I can keep it. It's pretty. Okay, then let me finish taping this. This is what I was doing, wasn't it? That way, I just know that, you know, maybe we won't have any problems. These problems are just not friendly to me. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks good either way. I think you can do it either way. You can sew it. You could just glue it, not have any additional, you know, elements on there. Or you can do it this way, which is kind of awesome. Play with what you got, though. If you don't have these things, don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. Like I said, there's too many different ways you can do it. Okay, so now I've secured this a little bit more. I think I'm a little more secure with the feeling of it. And I'll show you on my journal page in one of the signatures. This is what it looks like in the signature. See, I take it and I will cut it down. I'll sew it. Okay, and then I zigzagged around this page. I zigzagged it in, and then I'll be able to just take it off, snip, snip, when I figure out the size that I need it to be. I will probably go ahead and add just another little embellishment here onto the bottom, which this one says collected by. Just that on there. Try and center it a little bit. So that should pretty well be all you need to do. Like I said, you can do like the brads, or you can do the stitching, and you know, the choices are yours and how you want to do it. I think a cute little, if you had a nice little floral or even a dried floral to go in there, that'd be really awesome too. But anyway, it's yours how you want to do it. I just wanted to share with you what I was working on, and I hope you can find it, you know, useful in your own journals. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.